Good morning, everybody. I'm Eureka John, and you're at Eureka Street Crypto, broadcasting live at 5:31 in the morning. It is March 24th, 2022. This is episode number 435. I keep saying the episode number wrong on pretty much every episode. Every time I try to say the I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I said it right today. Episode number 435. So yeah, I've been doing this for a little bit, and this is my morning brain dump. That's all it is. It may or may not be accurate, but it's me trying to make myself better every single day by learning something new. And once you stop learning, then the dying starts. So yeah, it's a push and a pull every single day. And just try to keep moving forward. All right, today's Thursday, and the week is almost over. I hit a little pushback because I was gonna buy all this audio visual equipment, and I have bought some, but I wanted to get a new computer to be able to run a more powerful stream and do some video editing tasks and stuff like that. And I wanted to get a good camera and some live streaming equipment, but I got pounded with $10,000 worth of property taxes because the taxes in my neighborhood went up so much. And they reassessed the tax and the value of the house. Now I got to protest and all this stuff, but I ended up having to pay. And luckily, I'm at a stage in my life where I did have that money available in crypto. So I had to go through and cash out on a bunch of projects I wasn't ready to cash out on to kind of gather up that money. And $10,000 may not seem like a lot of money for some of you people out there in the crypto lane and the finance world, but it is a lot to me. It nearly breaks me. So I had to pay property taxes instead of build up my creative studio. Priorities, right? It's part of growing up and being an adult, I guess, but it's still not stopping me from creating. I don't have to have all the fancy gadgets and gear and all that stuff in order to try to improve my craft. In fact, it will only help me better improve my craft, so I won't be reliant on fancy gadgets and gear. And this is kind of why I do all this in one take as well, because it helps me to be able to articulate myself better. I only have time for one take before I go off to work. I don't have time to edit. I don't have any time for any of the edit. All this property tax increases also made me reevaluate whether or not I want to quit my job right now too. But if I'm going to do what I really want to do, which is create content and learn to hone my audio and visual skills and stuff like that, then I really need to quit my job to go full time into this. But it's a leap of faith, and it's a scary leap of faith, especially during these uncertain times. I'll only look back on my life when I get older and regret not having done that and just stayed in that job. So I don't know. Just every single day is a fork in the road, and which road are you going to take? I don't know. That's part of why I spend the time learning every day, because every single day I'm learning. Then the next day I make a better decision than the previous day before that. All right. So all right, let's take a look at the CoinGecko charts now that I went on that little soliloquy or monologue. What is the difference between a monologue and a soliloquy? I don't really know. Soliloquy reminds me of something Shakespeare-esque, and monologue is just somebody talking for a while. Or you could just say rambling. Okay, so we have Bitcoin at $42,979.46. I did not sell any Bitcoin, so yeah. Ethereum at $3,046.04. BNB at 409.73. So yeah, regardless of what people calling Bitcoin a dinosaur and all that stuff, it is what it is. Like I said yesterday to IDEX intern, Bitcoin is a store of value. That's all it is. Nothing more, nothing less, to me anyway. And it's if you're comparing it to Ethereum, it's like comparing apples and oranges, I do believe Bitcoin is a store of value. So that's with all this crazy dollar inflation, now that Joe Biden is going to be giving $500 biweekly to people earning $300,000 and under, the dollar is going to be inflated to hell. And a lot of people think this is great and it's a blessing. Oh my gosh, we're going to be airdropped by St. Joe, all this money. Well, it's taxable for one, and so it puts you on the hook for taxes, and you could end up in major debt and possibly slavery in some way, shape, or form. You're gonna have to pay that back. And two, it creates a dependency on the government, and it makes people not want to work, and it makes businesses not want to give people raises. It does not work out well in the end. And just imagine we have a major cyber attack, everything shuts down. We are used to having that airdrop, and we have all our bank accounts are zeroed out. All our 401ks are zeroed out. Everything's completely zeroed out. And the only way, once the lights come back on, that we can survive at that point is to live on that airdrop. And the only way you can get that airdrop is if you fit certain criteria. You get the ID passport, the digital ID passport, and you receive that CBDC. And the only way you can receive that is if you have that jab in your arm, So it's not looking pretty, that's why I keep Bitcoin and other types of hard assets, just in case, man. Call me paranoid, but look at what happened. What's happened in the past couple of years. Anyway, so let's see here. XRP's at 83 cents. Cardano's at $1.13. Up 34.7. It hit kind of a spike yesterday. I don't know why. Terra up to 94.26 from 5.9. Solana 99.51, up 13.3%. Avalanche up to $85.84, up 15.8% in the past week. Polkadot $20.69, up 8.6 in the past week. The Dage 13 cents, up to 18.7% in the past week. Let's see here. Let's see, crypto.com token 43 cents, 7.4. I have some crypto.com token on they have their Kronos blockchain, which is built on top of the Cosmos ecosystem. And crypto.com actually has a DeFi app where you own the keys to that app, and you can go stake your crypto.com tokens for 12%. And I don't think crypto.com is going anywhere. It's not a fly-by-night operation. I can get 12% easily from that. The price doesn't really fluctuate that much. In fact, it's only really been going up in the long term. Basically crypto.com owns the Staples Center in Los Angeles. I mean, they are a big name. You see them everywhere, all over the media, Matt Damon did a crypto.com commercial, for Christ's sake, I think, or a lot of celebrities as well. I think it was on the screen in the back of the Oscars as well. So crypto.com is going mainstream, or they are mainstream. And to get in at 43 cents and earn 12%, and then to be able to hold the keys to your crypto in their DeFi wallet, I mean, I'm going to do it. I'm sorry. I don't know. It's just one of those things. Yeah. So Polygon up 7.2% to $1.57. Let's see what else we have. Chainlink up 8.8% to $15.96. How is Bitcoin Cash still number 20? Bitcoin Cash 357. I have to say it that way. Bitcoin Cash. And then Tron, dude. I think that Justin's son took some kind of government position somewhere. I don't know how focused he is on Tron anymore. I don't know. But yeah, then again, I just speak out of my ass. Axie Infinity up 25.7% to 63.45. Let's see, what else am I missing out on here? The Theta Network up 11.6%. I'm still bullish on Theta, by the way. And yeah, I explained why yesterday in my talk with IDEX intern. And let's see, Tezos, the marketplace for artists. It's really kind of gained that reputation. NFT in Ethereum NFT marketplace is by far the standard. And most NFT activity happens on Ethereum. However, NFT is kind of known to be a little, slimy as for like NFT flippers and people speculators trying to take advantage of the market, where a lot of the real artists and musicians are going over to the Tezos blockchain and creating some really cool stuff over there. And I have a few Tezos NFTs, and you can still get them very cheap over there. So go take a look over at their marketplaces. And yeah, you can see some really cool stuff there. NFTs, like I used to create motion graphics. I still do today. But I mean, back in the MySpace days, I used to create motion graphics and put my GIFs up on MySpace, right? And there was no way that I could really like share or sell or really even own those motion graphics that I thought were cool. And they were cool. I had a whole hard drive full of them before that hard drive got destroyed, which sucks. I lost like an entire portfolio of my life on that hard drive. But that's a tangent. But I had all these motion graphics, and I was putting them on MySpace for people to see. And that's the only real outlet I had, and I couldn't own it. Well, a lot of those motion graphic artists are going to Tezos. They're making them NFTs. They can share their portfolio that way, and they can sell and retain some royalties for the ownership of it. So that's the beauty of that. I randomly bought some Tornado Cash money the other day. I don't know why I did. I just kind of did. It's like one of those things. I had a couple $100 sitting in a wallet from me cashing out all that stuff for my property taxes, and I was just like, man, I'll just put this back in a token. Which token should I put this into? And I was on Uniswap, and I just started scrolling down, and I saw Tornado Cash. I was like, Tornado Cash. So I put it into Tornado Cash. I don't know why, but it's a privacy-centered token, and I think privacy is going to become a big issue very soon here, if not already, with all this social credit system rolling into place. Privacy is going to be a very important topic and something very valuable for a lot of people. And Tornado Cash deals with privacy. It allows you to mix up your crypto from the destination, from the source to the destination locations. And it allows you to mask where things are going. So yeah, and it's not just for criminals. I mean, you don't necessarily need or want to have everybody know where all your transactions are going. So it's kind of a perk and a bug of blockchain technology is the transparency of it. It's a perk in things like DAOs, and things like companies and corporations where you want transparency, but on an individual basis, it can kind of be a bug. You don't necessarily want everybody to see your entire wallet if they happen to know your crypto address. Anyway, speaking of DAOs, I was yesterday doing some research, and I was talking with Aaron 0x because we're trying to write some stuff for the Decentralist. And I was just thinking, I was like, DAOs are pretty much known to be on Ethereum as a platform. And DAO platforms are pretty much known to be on Ethereum. How many DAOs can you think of right off the top of your head that are on other blockchains? And I was just like, okay, I know that there's DAO tooling on other blockchains like XDAI. XDAI blockchain is pretty much kind of like a layer 2 Ethereum. It's its own blockchain, but it's real fast, and it like, for instance, tipping in certain DAOs is done with the XDAI blockchain. What else? I believe Coordinape uses the give token that represents your portion of a treasury share to be able to give to others, and I believe that's done on the XDAI blockchain. And then of course there's the Hive blockchain, and they have their own DAO platform set up to be able to build your own DAO. But aside from that, I hadn't really seen much on other blockchains, and so I started just doing a search, and I came up with, Harmony One has DAO building platforms. Avalanche has DAO building platforms. Here we go. Let's see here on GitHub, how to create your own DAO with Avalanche. Now, what is a DAO? DAOs are systems that help us work with people around the world in a safely and clear way. Think of them like internet native businesses that's collectively owned and managed by its members. Now, DAOs can have varying levels of decentralization. Really, a DAO is basically a group of people with a shared wallet, basically a multi-sig. But it's not just that. But it allows people to vote in a decentralized way using blockchain. So DAOs usually include blockchain voting and a multi-sig treasury. Those are two of the main characteristics of DAOs. So I was like, okay, on all these different DAO platforms, what is the common ingredient that makes a DAO? And what are some of the variables that a lot of the different platforms have that are not essential, but will make something more of a DAO or less of a DAO or a quirky DAO, it kind of gives it a unique characteristic. And you see the same thing in DeFi platforms, automated market makers, on those swap platforms like Uniswap, and you see a lot of other swap protocols that look just like Uniswap, and a lot of them are kind of a copy and paste of Uniswap code. And PancakeSwap, for instance, even uses the same dang Uniswap hyperlinks. They haven't even bothered to change the names of the links within there. But a lot of it is copy and paste. So there are some basic characteristics of what makes an automated market maker, and those are liquidity pools for one. But some swap protocols, automated market makers, use liquidity differently. Like Bancor, for instance, has single-sided liquidity. What is it? Shipyard Clipper Exchange. They deal with slippage differently. 1 inch is an aggregator. Let's see what else. I mean, there's a whole lot of, and there's different automated market makers for different blockchains. Some have different transaction fees. So I mean, they all approach, and they all have like the same basic structure, but they all have tiny little quirks and twists on how they do things. And you can kind of start to recognize if you've dealt with one automated market maker, you've dealt with them all. If you've dealt with one DeFi platform, you've kind of dealt with them all. You know what to look for and what a DeFi platform looks like. And that's when I really started to get it, when I started to see the same patterns. Because at first, when you're new to the space, you're kind of fire hosed with all this stuff coming at you. All these different protocols. Pancake Swap, Apple Swap, Pizza Swap. And that was back in summer of 2020 when you had nothing but just like these food-based DeFi memes. Like, and it's like sushi, Apple, pizza, pancake, pasta, and they were all some variation of some kind of DeFi app. If you're in finance, basically. Yam. You remember the yams? But now the same thing is kind of happening with DAO platforms and DAO building platforms. All right. So like the first DAO building platform, as far as I know, was made by DAO House, and it was built on Moloch. So here's Moloch's Medium page, Moloch DAO. And hold on, I have these a billion tabs open. Well, Moloch DAO was the original DAO building platform, and here's their blog engine. They take the idea of Moloch, an Old Testament god of human coordination failure. And what is the best way to combat human coordination failure? It is by creating some kind of stable hub with all the spokes, that is unchanging and immutable. And in the past, in the Old Testament, that was the 10 Commandments, and they were carried around in the Ark of the Covenant and all that stuff. And humankind needed some kind of stable code or law given to them by God that could not be altered by humans. And, that is where a lot of this concept comes from, because we need something from an external source to point to, because as humans, we just see each other as humans and nothing more. But whenever you have some kind of immutable, powerful externality that you can point to, then suddenly the humans can't argue with each other, and they have some central kind of law that they can follow. Well, in our day and age, we have basically kicked God out of the bucket, out of the room, and we are just stuck with each other's humanity and imperfection. So what comes next? In a lot of cases, a lot of people what comes next is math. Math and code is law. You can't really argue with math. However, now that we're getting into quantum, equations and stuff like that, you can really start to question the foundation of a lot of that stuff. But math in the real world is pretty predictable, pretty certain. Physics, code, algorithms, they're pretty transparent and a lot of times pretty immutable. So whenever you have a DAO that is based on code, which is based on math, then you have something that's pretty immutable. And so this creates some kind of sacred text for a group of people to revolve around. And when you vote using that immutable code, and everybody can see it, then there's the source of truth. And then whenever you hold on, I'm trying to pull up Moloch DAO for you. Oh man, I haven't had. Okay, let me put on this. Oh man, no volume. Okay. Well, shoot. I was just going on a good. Oh man, that sucks. Okay, well. It is what it is, man. I do this every single day, and sometimes I make mistakes like this with volume and with sound and all that stuff. And shoot, okay. What a good way to start a Thursday. Oh, man. I don't know where I left off. I don't know where I left off and where I cut off my volume, because I was talking about Moloch, and I was talking about the whole idea of Moloch being human coordination failure. And I was talking about the idea of, imagine if you're in some kind of stampede and some kind of crowd trying to exit, like in Astral World, trying to exit out of that place as fast as possible. And there's just something like, there's just panic. There's panic in the crowd. And imagine if you tried to stand up on top of a ladder and you tried to tell everybody, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Here's how we need to all go out, and you try to order that operation so nobody gets hurt. But in the meantime, you get hurt because you're standing on top of that ladder, and there's just that critical mass of people flowing. So you fall off the ladder, you crack your head open, and you die because you were trying to tell people the truth about the situation, and you were trying to lead people in the proper direction so nobody got hurt. Well, that crowd and that critical mass and kind of just that banal or banal, however you pronounce it, way of doing things ends up killing a lot of people, and that is taking control, kills you, and that is Moloch. And so if you are an individual trying to stand up against Moloch, you'll probably die. And so that's why they've created these kings, these untouchables created by a priestly class that is receiving the truth from a God figure, and that is immutable. And then that person stands outside of Moloch. However, a lot of times they can become a fascist, and they usually end up dying an untimely death.
because the violence of the people builds up, and then they point directly at that person who is in control, supposedly, and is the person to blame. And that's the scapegoat. That's the scapegoat mechanism. And then once that person dies, then the violence is quelled, and then somebody else gets put in that place until the cycle continues to repeat itself. And that is our human society. So now, we've been doing that for centuries, and then now that we are in the digital age and we're able to code, these sacred texts are starting to be replaced by code. Digitization of society. So you have DAOs, and you have a DAO manifesto, you have smart contracts running the treasury, you have smart contracts running the voting. It is immutable, it is not human, although humans do write the smart contracts. So it's not perfect, but it is something, and that's kind of what DAOs are, decentralized autonomous organizations. And of course, humans are always able to write things down better on paper than in practice. But this is what's interesting about DAOs is they are an experiment of human society that allows us to try different things out with different types of digital quote-unquote sacred texts. Without necessarily killing and raping an entire civilization over it. So if you want to try out some kind of socialist-leaning organization, well, by all means, go for it, dude. But you're not going to end up killing and destroying the lives of tons of businesses and farmers doing so, because it's just in this encapsulated experience, it's an organization to see how it works. So it allows people to try out different types of civilizations without ruining everybody's lives. So I think that's pretty cool about DAOs. Anyway, Moloch was the original DAO platform, as far as I know, made by DAO House. And you can go in here and you can launch the app and create your own DAO. They now have a version 3 out called Baal, B-A-A-L. So they're still going along the Old Testament God type of theme here. Whom do you serve? The future of humanity requires the sacrifice of your shallow desires, but its reward is the head of Moloch itself. This demon god of coordination failure who consumes our future potential for perverse immediate gain will be slain. Pledge your oath to his demise or go down with him. And demon blood looks good on you. So it looks all satanic, but it's really saying that Satan or Moloch is really just coordination failure. It's human coordination failure. And it is up to us to try to defeat that human coordination failure. Well, I guess code can do so. And in a way, I don't know. Be a part of something meaningful. Becoming a member of Moloch DAO signals your commitment to fund regenerative infrastructure and digital public goods that will eventually lay the foundation for physical public goods. Decentralized and open source, the voting power of every member helps the community make a meaningful impact. So let's check out this manifesto. I'm interested to see what's up. So what's up with this manifesto, brah? All right. Okay, so let's check out this manifesto. Okay, so what manifesto? What Moloch has not? Moloch is not a company. It does not have a board. There's no CEO. There's no team of managers. There's no room for bureaucrats. Moloch does not have investors. There's no VCs, no angels, no SPACs. I don't even know what the hell that is. And no SPVs. I don't know what that is that are pulling the strings in the background. Moloch does not cater to speculators. Pump it, dump it, hedge it, short it, long it, lend it. Nobody cares. Moloch is agnostic to price. Moloch does not have an official voice. There's no legal entity. There's no foundation, no copyright, no patent, no central authority to stamp announcements with official seals from some great leader. What Moloch is. Moloch is Ethereum. We believe Ethereum is more than a Ponzi scheme riding the coattails of cypherpunk. This infrastructure is changing the world, and we will break our backs to keep it running. Moloch stands for public goods. Ethereum is a digital public good that will someday facilitate protecting and nurturing our material public goods. Ethereum is the GUI. And if you don't know, Gwei is the subunit of one Ethereum, just like Sats is the subunit of a Bitcoin, just like Cents is the subunit of a dollar. Moloch is punk as F. Kill your idols, practice careful and critical civil disobedience. Just say no to degenerates. We can take a punch to the face and still remain optimistic that we can manifest this world to be better, much better. Moloch is constantly evolving. What Moloch DAO is today may not be what Moloch is tomorrow. If it is, we're failing. Always learn something new, always change. What you do after reading this may change Moloch forever. It's up to you. And then here we have the ape turning into caveman, turning into human, turning into augmented reality, turning into a robot. Do we really want to turn into a robot? This is kind of the whole ideal of Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum. I can't say I'm in agreement with that. A lot of people like Alex Jones have called all the elites Satanists. Well, maybe they are recognizing what Moloch is and trying to figure out a way around human coordination failure. Now, I don't necessarily think global enslavement due to a technocratic society is freedom from Moloch, but maybe that's their interpretation of what it is, and I don't necessarily think it's right. But anyway, so I got to thinking, they said Moloch is Ethereum, and DAOs are not just built on Ethereum, though. See, over here, now I started going down this rabbit hole, how to create your own DAO with Avalanche. So Avalanche has here their whole ways to build your own DAO using Remix and the MetaMask wallet and stuff like that. So you can build your own DAO using Solidity on Avalanche. And then over here, you have Harmony One. They are allowing a lot of incentives for you to build DAOs on Harmony One as well. There. Okay, let me pull this up. Harmony One, home general DAOs. And if you play DeFi Kingdoms, that's kind of a DAO in a way. Here they explain what DAOs are. Decentralized Autonomous Organization is a mechanism for coordinating behavior and allocating resources. It's been called an internet community with a shared piggy bank or a book club with a bank account. But regardless of the metaphor, DAOs represent a visionary approach to working that we will believe will revolutionize the future of work. So as of August 1st, 2021, Harmony is working to seed and kickstart several DAOs in order to decentralize the management and effort in operating the Harmony network. Those several experiments and trial runs, several key principles have risen to the surface as vital components of a truly decentralized DAO. Please notice that while these components are necessary for a DAO to receive a seed grant from the Harmony Foundation, they are not sufficient. Meaning, if you're forming a DAO you would like to see supported by the foundation, you must follow these principles. However, because you follow these principles does not automatically mean that you receive foundation support. So principle one, the mandate. The Harmony Foundation has a threefold mandate that is ideal for organizing a community. For example, one community DAO has the mandate growth, engagement, diversity, and the one validator DAO has the management, decentralization, security, participation. Each mandate has two descriptors or sub-mandates. To illustrate, the one community DAO has onboard users, mission, and culture, pollinate values across community as the descriptors to growth. As a result, we understand that the DAO will not simply focus on growth, but on growing the community to share in the mission and the culture and to make sure that the values of the project are shared across the community. Principle number two, formation. A sifting order from chaos is the mark of a true alchemist. Yes, exactly. Trying to stand up on that ladder and direct the crowd to be able to exit the building safely rather than getting trampled. That's the mark of a true alchemist, somebody who can really do that without getting hurt or killed themselves. And that crowd is Moloch. So any DAO that gets formed has a root and a handful of dedicated individuals coming together to work towards a common purpose. We have found that there exists a critical mass of participants that will help establish a DAO for the best chance and sustainability. 9 governors tends to be the magic number of core members, initial members. They can come together to determine a mandate and to set up the basic tools for their DAO. It is usually the case that one governor becomes a lead governor that focuses on bringing together like-minded people to serve as signatories on a multi-sig wallet. Principle number 3, transparency, non-private information. I got to rush through these. Principle number 4, elections and rotations. And principle number 5, fluidity. DAO participants are fluid, so people can come and go. Anyway, so that's the kind of the Harmony way of DAOs. I'll link this in the video description. Then I wanted to get to one more thing here, the XDAO app. So XDAO app, and I don't know anything about this, good or bad, it is what it is. But XDAO app allows you to create DAOs and build DAOs on all different types of blockchains. So let's go over here to the home and let's see here. Let me get out of this page. Oops, XDAO app. Okay, here we are. Multi-chain DAO ecosystem. Oh my gosh, I'm sitting here. Okay, let me get back to the screen. I will. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to probably do a whole other episode just on this, because after my whole rant about DAOs and Moloch, I think it's justified for a new episode. So create your DAO with XDAO. Create and manage your decentralized autonomous organization using the fastest growing and most convenient solution on the market. So $309 million, $923 and $341 is safely managed with XDAO. Wow. Okay. So look at all this multi-chain support. Ethereum, 12 DAOs. Polygon, 381 DAOs on Polygon. Binance Chain has 374 DAOs. Avalanche, 22 DAOs. Phantom, 37 DAOs. You know, it goes on and on. I mean, there's Moonbeam, Moonriver, with Polkadot, Boba has a DAO. Optimism has 8 DAOs. The Shiden Network, you know, like, so yeah. And I connected my wallet and I started to create my own Eureka Street DAO. I'm going to explore this. I'm going to probably talk about all this stuff again tomorrow so I can kind of redo this episode. I don't think I adequately covered this stuff today, and my sound was off and something happened with my mic and my program over here. So I'm going to redo this tomorrow. This is an important topic to me anyway. So yeah. Okay. That being said, I got to get my butt to work. I got to take my long commute down the highway and do my deal. And now this is not pulling up. So yeah, lots of quirky stuff happening. Maybe I just need to restart my computer because now I'm not able to stop the stream. Well, boy, I tell you what. Okay. Well, I don't know, man. It's kind of a weird morning. All right. Well, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you for making it to the end of this program. If you actually like this content, give a thumbs up. And if you want to hear more, just hit the subscribe button. I'm available on YouTube, Odyssey, and BitChute, and on all the major podcasting platforms in audio version. Spotify specifically. If you would like to follow and leave a review, that would help a lot. I am also available on Twitter at EurekaJohn1. That's EUREKA John, JOHN, and the number 1. My DMs are always open. Feel free to shoot me a message. If you would like to donate some stablecoin or Ethereum, please feel free to send it to eurekajohn.crypto or eurekajohn.eth. This will help with the gas costs for all these protocols that I mess around with. Because that gas adds up and I ain't rich. Yet. Thanks again.